Hi, this is Broadway from the University of Florida, and today I'm going to talk to you about basic technique for tambourine. So first of all, I've got my tambourine in a case to make sure it's protected. So this is very important. You don't just want to throw it in a cabinet or something like that. Second thing is you want to make sure you get a good tambourine, one that's got good jingles, a wood shell. I'm partial to one that has a natural head, not synthetic, but there's some great synthetic heads out there. This is a Grover tambourine. It's got a mixture of silver and bronze jingles on it. So first of all, we want to make sure we use for concert percussion a tambourine with a head on it. We want to make sure we're not using one without a head. That's for a different application. The second thing is we need to realize from many of our handheld instruments, we want to make sure we keep the instrument up high so number one, the audience can see it, and number two, we can see while we're playing. If I have a music stand right here, typically I would have that music stand where my eyes are right above that so I can see the director and see the instrument. As I play this instrument, usually for my primary strokes, I'm going to hold it about 45 degrees. And I'm going to strike it. I'm going to turn so you can see a little bit, just a little bit off center. If I strike it right in the center, that's going to be very important for some of my impact notes. If I strike it right over the edge, I'm going to need that point as well. But about halfway between edge and center is usually where I will strike it for my primary notes. And again, I group my fingers together, almost like making it a little bit of a stick, if you will. I don't want to hit it, I don't want to slap at it. I want to find a point where I can strike, and my fingers are almost all striking at the same exact point, including my thumb. So, generally speaking, about 45 degrees. I'm going to strike it. So there's not a lot of complexity to that, but I want to make sure I get a consistent sound. Listen to the difference when I play in the center. Fairly minimal at this dynamic, and as I play towards the edge, fairly minimal difference as well. As I change my dynamics, you're going to hear a huge difference when I strike in a different spot. So again, usually a little bit off center is a good place to start. Now the louder I play, many times I will need to play right in the center, and I will often use my fist or the point of my fist to get a great impact. For very soft playing, I'll often just use my fingertips and play right over the edge. Let's talk about that just for a moment. I usually have four categories I think about for primary tambourine playing. I've got slow and loud when I'm playing. And again, the rhythm I'm playing is 1, enda 2, enda 1, enda 2, enda. That's very slow, very loud. As I get faster and faster, it's awfully hard. There's only so fast I can play. Now I could try to put it on a stand, do something like this. The tambourine's going to bounce around. It's not going to be really loud. It's going to be hard to play. I could have somebody else hold it. Essentially what I need to do is grow another hand. And that's what I do when I play what's called a knee to fist or hand to fist technique. I have a chair here next to me. I'm basically going to use my knee as my other hand. So now, what I've done now is I'm turning the tambourine over so the head is facing down. I can either use my fist or my hand to basically grow that other hand. So this is called knee to fist technique. So again, I use this when I'm playing really loudly and very fast. Let's take for a moment, I'm going to play the same rhythm we played a moment ago, but play very soft. At a certain point, I'm playing so soft on the head, it's hard to hear any of the jingle. Here's where I go out towards the edge a great deal more. And I'll sometimes just play with my fingertips this way, but what ends up happening is the ring of the tambourine sometimes interferes with the articulation. So I often set my palm on the head and play it with my palm muffling and just play with the fingertip or two. So this is when I'm playing very soft and very slow. Now I can keep doing this until I get faster. And again, my hand can only move so quick. I can try to alternate my fingers, but sometimes the consistency is difficult there. So what I'm going to do in this situation is not put it on a stand, not put it on any surface that's going to make a lot of rattling, but I'm going to balance it on my leg. Here's the chair again. I'm going to use my palms to muffle. And I can play very soft with my fingertips and very fast. Sometimes I'll even turn the tambourine over and play directly on the shell for a lot of articulation. Again, to review, when I'm playing loud and slow, loud and fast, softly and slowly, and soft and very fast. It really helps to have two tambourines that are very similar, because there are times where you're going to need one facing head up and one facing head down depending on the situation, because it's almost impossible to turn the tambourine over without making a noise. So when you get to advanced repertoire, you really do need to have two tambourines. There's a hole in the tambourine, and this is for mounting it on a cymbal stand for multiple percussion. You should not be putting your finger through that hole. The way we hold the tambourine for our general purpose playing is we tend to take that spot where that hole is. We hold it, think about a C or a clamp. Our thumb goes on top. That helps to muffle some of the ring. And then at the bottom we hold it. You don't want to hold it over the jingles. So again, I'll get a little closer so you can see that spot. There's that hole again. And the thumb on top. And finally, one other concept that we use a great deal on the tambourine is the roll, or the shake roll. I'm not going to talk about thumb or finger rolls today, but we will use the thumb and finger rolls often for very soft, very short rolls. Most of our tambourine playing, especially in the beginning levels, is a shake roll. The idea behind the shake roll is we literally will get that tambourine going back and forth. There are a couple of ways to approach it. We can shake it with a rotation. We can use our other hand to make that shake happen as well. So I tend to be more old-fashioned. I tend to use the shake roll more as this rotation. And you have to be able to do this for a long time if you're going to use this shake roll. So again, if you have trouble with this, don't be afraid to try some of the other techniques to make the tambourine vibrate. When we use the shake roll, the more traditional one, we usually want to strike the tambourine to start the roll and strike the tambourine to end the roll. Sometimes we'll strike the tambourine low and we'll crescendo by raising the tambourine up when we want it to ring, or we'll bring it down. Sometimes we want the tambourine vibration to stop immediately. Then we'll do things like this. And we'll bring it down to get the tambourine as horizontal as possible to get the jingles to stop vibrating. So again, if you want that tambourine to ring, you hear the jingles. And I enter that with the fist to give a big accent. If I want to stop abruptly, I'll do things like this. So you see, this instrument is really exciting to play. It's not very complex for our basic techniques, but as we get into advanced repertoire, you see that we need a lot of different ways to make that tambourine either ring longer or ring less. So again, to review, we have all the techniques to make the tambourine either loud and fast, loud and slow, soft and fast, soft and slow. We have the different striking points depending on the dynamic, either towards the edge for very soft, towards the center for very loud. We sometimes use our fingers grouped together, just our fingertips, or our fist even for big accents. And finally, for shake rolls, we want to make sure that we start the shake roll with an articulate sound. And depending on the situation, we may need to end the shake roll with an accent or bringing it down this way. And then finally, just to make sure you take care of this instrument, you want to make sure that this head doesn't get too hot or too cold, especially if you're using a natural head, one that's made out of calfskin. If it gets too hot or too cold, the head can be damaged. It can pull away from the shell. And you can replace these heads. They do come with, you can get a kit from the various manufacturers to replace the heads if they do get torn or they start sounding bad. So I hope this has been helpful for you today. Again, my name is Ken Broadway. If you need to ask me any questions about this, my email address is kbroadway@arts.ufl.edu. Thanks for watching.